So we're gonna do all those things tomorrow, and hopefully the kids will be able to revise their essays and get an idea of some of the things they need to fine tune and tweak so that they are ready to go in about 6 weeks. I've been busy looking at the students' writing. I am thinking of finding a way to make this writing whole revision process a lot more engaging for my student. And we were having some issues with technology because sometimes that will happen with technology. I'm actually happy that I'm doing this because I'm adding what I wanted to, which was one of my goals for the year in the classroom, adding more novelty and fun into instruction. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my channel and to another week of classroom vlogs. So today is Monday, January 22nd, and I am going to start the morning like I usually do on Monday mornings and go to my Weight Watchers meeting, which I am not expecting good results because I haven't been feeling well. And last week when I went out with my friends, I kind of ate things that were a lot of points on Weight Watchers, but the point is that I went out with my friends and I had a good time, so I'm not gonna worry about that. And whatever the scale shows today, the scale does not define me. It is just my relationship with gravity. So whatever it is, I'm just going to take it and then move forward for the rest of this week, eating better and so forth. So I'm gonna get started with that. So I will catch up with you probably sometime during my lunchtime, if not at the end of the day. And there's a couple of things that I do want to accomplish this week. One of them is I want to rearrange the desk again. Yeah, I get bored with the setup of the classroom every so often. It's about once a month and I need to change everything around. So I'll see if I do that today. I'm not sure, but I look forward to the rest of the week. I have a lot of great things to accomplish, so I'm going to take you right along with me. All right, really quick because the students are about to come in. I just finished my Weight Watchers meeting and it wasn't so bad. I mean, I did weigh in last week at a local meeting instead of the school meeting because there was no school last Monday. So I know what my weight was during that meeting. But when I went to weigh in today, they took into consideration the weight that I had before last week. So it looks like I lost 0.4 pounds. But if I compare it from last week's weigh-in that I did at a local meeting to this week, I kind of gained 2.2 pounds. But I'm not going to stress about it. I'm just going to take it. They actually gave me, hold on a second. They gave me my 10 pounds lost because I've lost a total of 16.2 pounds now. I'm so excited. But I'm going to take the 2.2 weight gain. I know why there's a weight gain, and that's good to reflect on that, and that's why I didn't want to skip the weigh-in. But after school, what I am planning to do is I am planning to do a walk so that I can get more exercise and more movement this week. And I'm going to be more intentional about what I eat to make sure I eat the right foods, because last week I did indulge, and I don't want to indulge every single week. So with that, it's time to let the kids in, so I'll catch up with you later. is now the end of the day and I am getting ready to leave and go home because I'm trying to make it a point and this time of the year to not stay too late in the classroom after school. So I'm gonna pack up my things right now and leave. As you saw in the previous clip, the only thing my students worked on today is an FSA writing practice test, which was a 2-hour practice test. And the reason I did that was because I need to get them used to 2 hours of testing and kind of know how it feels. So now I'm going to take those papers home. I'm going to look over their essays and I'm going to give them feedback. And tomorrow they're going to start doing revisions to their essay as mini lessons for revision. So tomorrow we're going to work on how to unwrap the prompt again, how to read the sources and gather evidence, as well as create a plan for writing and how to write an introduction. So we're going to do all those things tomorrow, and hopefully the kids will be able to revise their essays and get an idea of some of the things they need to fine tune and tweak so that they are ready to go in about 6 weeks. So that's it for now. I'll see you tomorrow. All right, not quite tomorrow's vlog yet. I actually got home and I wanted to say that another perk of being able to leave on time and come home is that I still have time to get my workout in. So I am dressed to go for my walk run and I will catch up with you later. Good morning, everyone. So I kind of have to hurry because I came in early, but I stayed in my car the whole time until about 8:10. So I have morning duty today to help the kids get inside from the courtyard, so I have to hurry up. But I wanted to say hello. It's a new day. It's Tuesday, January 23rd, and I can't wait to show you what I do today in my classroom. And I'm looking at my windows, which are right in front of me, and I'm just gonna have to show you how cold it is in my classroom. Outside, it is pretty hot and warm for a January in Florida, but that's fine. But look at these windows. Look at all the condensation on the windows. Don't mind the stack of papers, but look at that. All the windows have this condensation. Wow. It is cold in my room. Needless to say, I'm going to have to be wearing a sweater inside my classroom, even though I'm going to have to take it off before I go outside because it's pretty hot. It's going to be in the 80s today. So let's see what today brings. I'm so sorry I haven't been able to vlog earlier today during my planning time, but it's been a hectic day. I've been busy looking at the students' writing and giving it a score. I'm not done, but at least their students are starting to do activities to help them make sure that they follow all the proper steps that I need them to do in order to, 1, understand the writing prompt better, 2, make sure they read their sources with close reading strategies and make those annotations, 3, gather their evidence, which is very important to address whatever the task of the prompt is asking them to do. 4, make sure they create a plan for their writing and not start writing without a plan because, like Benjamin Franklin says, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail, so that they can use all of that in order to then write their essay. And I'm doing that step by step as a mini lesson now that they've taken their writing practice test. And they will make sure they revise their introduction and write really good introductions. They will make sure they revise their body paragraphs to make sure they have good body paragraphs that has good elaboration and evidence, and it is specific to one of the reasons and ideas per paragraph. And make sure they have a good conclusion to conclude their point, whether it's opinion or informative. So I've been doing a lot of that this morning. Now it's my lunch and I need to eat super fast. Let me quickly show you what I have for lunch today. So today I'm having your typical Puerto Rican lunch, which is, this is codfish salad, and this is boiled green bananas and yautía. In Puerto Rico we say yautía, but in Cuba they say malanga, and that's boiled pumpkin. So a lot of this is 0 points, and of course I have to take into account the olive oil that's in the salad, which is not a lot, and the malanga. That's it. So that's my lunch for today. All right, so it's the end of the day and I'm changing the scenery a little bit because my room is freezing and I just wanted to take a little walk outside in nature around the school. I'm actually surrounded by one of our butterfly gardens and I'm next to our new playground, which is right there. And yeah, so I had to reflect a little bit about today. The students continue to work on their essay, the practice test yesterday, we started going over how I need them to go ahead and unwrap the prompt, make annotations in all of their sources, gather their evidence, make their plan. We didn't finish. Tomorrow they'll make their plans and finish gathering evidence and hopefully revise their introductory paragraphs. I just see from doing the practice test that it's a good idea that I'm doing it now so that I can assess where they are at this time before the test, which is in like 5 weeks. And I can do some mini lessons to go ahead and help them get stronger in the areas that they need to get stronger. I also just got out of a Utd meeting. Utd stands for our union, our United Teachers of Dade Teachers Union. And right now there's a bill going to the state. It's in the House and the Senate, I believe, at this time. And they're going to vote on to dissolve unions that have less than 50% membership. We're desperately trying to see if we can find ways to let our fellow coworkers know that if they're not members, they should really consider joining the union. If not, we will lose a lot of the rights that we currently have. So that's a lot to take in for a Tuesday afternoon, actually. So I'm just gonna gather my things and go home, go for a nice run, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. And just so you can have an idea, this is one of the butterfly gardens that we have, and that is the new playground right there. It has AstroTurf. It's very nice. And this sidewalk leads to the courtyard where our cafeteria is. So, oh, and right here behind me is, the kids call it a tiki hut, but it's more like a chickie. So yeah, this is our outdoor classroom, and anybody can come out here and have class outside in the nice outdoor environment. So that's very nice. So see you tomorrow. Morning everyone, and welcome back. So today is Wednesday. It's the middle of the day week, and as soon as I get over this day, then we're that much closer to the weekend. That's how I like to look at it. Anyway, so today my students are continuing to work on revising their practice tests that they did on Monday, and I'm just doing mini lessons to make sure that they understand what are all the different steps. So today they're making sure they write a good plan, and then we're going to pause as soon as they come back from specials so that they can work on their reading stamina meter. And we're going to finish off on Unit 3, Week 3 before we start in Unit 3, Week 4, which will go over the Civil War, and we're going to learn about Abraham Lincoln and all those different things. And I got to get the students ready because they need to take the test for that unit tomorrow. So I have a couple of things that I'm just getting done. I don't feel it's that very exciting, but I am thinking of finding a way to make this writing whole revision process a lot more engaging for my students. So I'm getting the wheels in my head turning to come up with some really great ideas. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I'll catch up with you sometime later. And just to give you an idea of what I mean by their plans, so at the top, I want them to write their topic. Since this is an opinion prompt, they need to write no or yes and what they're saying no and yes to, which is the topic from the prompt. Then they need to come up with at least 2 reasons or ideas that they want to use to support whatever their opinion is. And then on the bottom of each of these, they need to write an elaboration, like what do they mean by that reason? And then find at least 1 piece of evidence to support that. This will create the skeleton that they will use in order to write their essay. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the students create. And right now is my lunchtime, so very quickly I'll show you what I have for today. It's not a big deal. It's just salad and some tuna again. But I just wanted to quickly show you what I have. So today I have the regular salad that I usually get, which is the 50-50 spinach and spring mix blend, along with Annie's chili lime dressing. And to pair that off, my protein is the spicy Thai chili from Bumblebee. So that will be my lunch today. And I just came out of a faculty meeting, which just finished. Right now it's 3:45. The meeting started around 2:30, and we had a lot of information and also a presentation on social media ethics, which was very interesting. Good to have been a part of that, and good to know that I'm following all those rules. Also, I wanted to go over what my students have been working on as far as writing goes. So just to give you an idea of the requirements, not the requirements, but just an idea of the tasks that we're asking the students to complete. And they're just fourth graders, 9, 10-year-olds, but we're going to get them ready and they're going to be able to do a good job on the test, which is on March 6th. So let me show you what we've been working on. All right, so students got this prompt, which is an opinion prompt. And they immediately, when they open their packet, they get the sources. And then they have the prompt along with a planning sheet that was included here, which this doesn't really look like the planning sheet that they have on the Florida Standards Assessment, but we're going to roll with it because these are copies that the school gave to us. And then they have 3 pages of lined sheets so that they can write their essay. This is my example, which I use it as a model. And basically what I had the students work on starting yesterday was they had to unwrap the prompt. But I actually put it in a separate sheet of paper so that I can assess to make sure that they knew how to unwrap the prompt. So let me show you that sheet right now. So here's the sheet with the same exact prompt. And basically, I need them to unwrap the prompt using the method that I showed them, which is APT 1, 2, 3. So 1 stands for circle the essay keyword. So in this case, it's opinion. 2 stands for underline the topic. So here's the topic. Usually the topic comes after the essay keyword. And then 3, ask yourself if it's a 1-part or 2-part prompt. This is a 1-part prompt. And then they had to write what that part was. They will write what the second part was. And then they would use this, the circle, underline, ask, to find the APT. And APT stands for Purpose Task, which I actually got from the Florida Writing Rubric that is used to score the kids. So once you find who you're writing to, if it doesn't say who you're writing to, again, that's automatically the teacher. Then once you find the essay keyword, if it's opinion, the purpose is to give your opinion, and the task is related to the topic, which I asked them to write it in the form of a question. Would a bike sharing program work in my community? So they did this. This is my example again, but I will be grading this to make sure that they know how to unwrap a prompt. Then what we did was I showed them the importance of making annotations and marginal notes and selective underlining based on what the purpose of the prompt or the task is. So we went over this, and I told them that next week when they do their next practice test that I will be grading their annotations. So if they do annotations, they get an A, etc. Because I told them that it's very important to do that. So after they did their annotations and we went over that, we used the annotations to go over the gathering of evidence. Now this is how the actual planning sheet will look like. It's going to be on a yellow sheet. It's going to have a line side, and then it's going to have a blank side on the back. So I tell them when it's an opinion piece, the easiest way to gather your evidence is with a T-chart, where you write the yes and the no. So all the evidence that supports that yes, the bike program will work, and no, all the evidence that says that supports that no, a bike sharing program will not work in my community. So we did this together to kind of make sure that they gathered all their evidence. And I told them, yes, still gather the evidence, even if you know for sure what side you're going to be, just so that you can have an informed decision as far as your opinion goes. Also, once they gather the evidence, they then had to create their plan. And I showed them how to do this. This is a modified spaceship. We call it a spaceship because it kind of looks like a spaceship. So basically, they put their topic on the top, then they have their reasons, and I tell them to have at least 2. I had 3 because I told them there was enough content for me to have a third one. And then after they write their reason, they elaborate on that. What do they mean by that? And what evidence from the text supports that? I'm pretty sure I went over this before on an earlier video this week, but I just wanted to reiterate that. And I showed them, I started working on this, on what the no would look like. So no, problems with customer service, crowded streets and sidewalks, people can get hurt. And my next part would be to elaborate on what I mean by that and find text evidence to support that reason. So it's interesting because I had a couple students, as they were working on this plan, tell me today that, wow, it really helped that they had already annotated, because by annotating, it helped them not only gather their evidence, but also put their plan together. And I told them, research has been done. Students that take time to plan have higher scores on their writing test. So planning is important. So now that they have planned, tomorrow we're going to work on revising their introductory paragraph. So this is my example of the introductory paragraph. And again, this is a checklist that I will help them understand and use. O stands for opener, which is a general statement about the topic. T is for topic sentence, which in this case, it's an opinion piece. So that's my opinion. And then 3 stands for transition, reason 1, evidence elaboration or elaboration evidence. And I have a tree for each of my body paragraphs. and then we end with a conclusion and our LI, which is our lasting impression, something that makes the reader think, feel, or smile. So that's the progress that we've made this week with our writing. So hopefully by Friday, they had already gone over how to unwrap the prompt, which we have already done. They've already planned their essays, which most of them have already done. And by Friday, they would have already revised an introduction paragraph. They would have revised at least one of their body paragraphs. Because of time, we can't revise all of them. Maybe I can assign it for homework on another day. And also have revised their conclusion. So they at least have an idea of how to start their essay, how to work on a body paragraph, which they can duplicate for the other body paragraphs, and how to end their essays with a really good conclusion. So that's basically my goal for this week. We also did a little bit of reading stamina with my morning group because I had more time with them than my afternoon group, and they got to 6 minutes. So I'm very, very excited that they got to 6 minutes of reading without interruptions. And my other class, tomorrow they'll do it, and hopefully they can get to their 5-minute goal as well. So it's all gearing up to be really good. I feel really good so far this week. Tomorrow, they're going to take their Wonders Unit 1 Week 3 assessment, and then we're going to continue moving forward to Unit 4, which is going to go over Abraham Lincoln and the Civil War and women's suffrage, which is really, really good. So yeah, that's it for today. I'll catch up with you tomorrow. So this is where I went ahead and I put the 2 stamina meters. As you can see, it's right above the skyline, right there by the classroom library. So I'll make a nice cute poster so I can put it up here, so it has a title so that everyone who comes into the classroom knows what this is. So yep, that's it, and now I'm definitely done. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another day. Today is Thursday, January 25th, and I will be showing you what I'm going to do today. It's still early in the morning, so right now I'm going to go to my desk and I'm going to check some papers that I need to give back to the students. So stick around and see what happens today. So right now is my planning time, and I actually spend most of the planning time having some great conversations with some of my grade level members. So right now I have a few minutes to kind of cool down and get ready for the kids when they come back from art. As you saw in the previous clip, they were taking their Wonders Unit 3, Week 3 assessment, and we were having some issues with technology because sometimes that will happen with technology. So my solution for it, and I'm sure you saw in the clips, I printed out the print version of the test so that as the students were waiting for the computers to get over their technical glitches, they could at least continue working on the test so that they could get it done. So thankfully, most of the class finished. There's just a few students that need to finish, and they'll have 15 minutes after they come from art so that they can just answer the last few questions that they need to answer. And then we're gonna jump into writing. So that's all I've done so far for the day, and I'll see you sometime during lunch, maybe, if not at the end of the day. So it's now the end of the day, and I'm very exhausted. Today the students were able to complete their Unit 1 Week 3 Wonders E-assessment on the laptops, and my homeroom students were able to also revise their introduction to their essays for the opinion essay that they practiced on Monday. The afternoon class didn't have time to do that because some of the students were taking a little bit longer finishing their assessment. So we're gonna have to kind of play catch up tomorrow. So that was my day. You saw a little clip of the students taking the test, and I did decide to go ahead and give them the printed test with them. I did it for my afternoon group just in case the computer glitched or it was easier for them to look at the passages on the actual print paper. So I think I'm gonna do that from now on for those tests. And that's basically it. I am really tired, so I'm gonna go home and go for a run because I believe is the first day of week 2. I'm trying to play catch up, but I believe today is a 90-second run or jog with a 2-minute walk for, I think it lasts for 31 minutes. So I'll be doing that today. So I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Good morning, everyone, and it is now Friday, or like I like to refer to, Friday. So all I have to do is get through today, and the weekend is here. Woohoo! But I'm actually excited over this week, and I will be sure to do that reflection for my entire week at the end of today so that I can think about everything that happened the week. What were the ups? What were the things that I want to make sure I work on for next week and so forth. So I have a couple of things that I'm going to do. I forgot to mention yesterday that during my planning time, I did invite, I believe it was like 5 students who met the 10 book challenge for the 40 book challenge. These are the students that had read 10 books for like the beginning of the first grading period, a little bit into the second. And since they met the goal, I invited them to have lunch bunch in my classroom where I provided them with some snacks. I gave them butter popcorn and a Capri Sun, and we watched some Phineas and Ferb while they ate their lunches. And that was a lot of fun. So I'm going to do it again at the end of February. There's another deadline, February 28th. Everyone has to read 20 books or more to be able to meet the deadline for that and the requirements so that they can come to another lunch bunch where I will give them probably popsicles so that I can reward them for doing a great job. And that's how I'm trying to motivate my students to read more independently and enjoy reading, because reading is a lot of fun. And I like that I'm doing the reading stamina in class because they get to choose whatever book they want to read, and they have to read that book for that amount of time to reach that goal. So today's goal is 15 minutes. Let's see if they can reach 15 minutes. Both classes are already tied at 10 minutes of reading independently without getting distracted, without looking around, and just being intentional about their reading. So I'm very excited about that. Another thing is that I know on Monday I mentioned that I was going to rearrange the desk in the classroom. Well, that hasn't happened yet. So maybe, I have maybe 30 minutes before the kids get here. So maybe I can work on that this morning. We'll see. So stick around and let's see what happens today. Oh, and before I leave, I forgot to mention, today is Friday, like I said, but it's also Funky T-shirt Friday, or my graphic tee Friday. I'm wearing a shirt from Teach Like a Girl. She was doing this whole entire drive to raise money for a good cause. So I love the shirt because I love the message. And let me stand up so that you can see it. All right, so you should probably see it. It says, "Empowered women empower women." So I really love this message, and that's what I'm going to be wearing today for my Funky T-shirt Friday. So I'll see you soon. Okay, I sort of just finished setting up the desk. I mean, this is preliminary, I guess, because I still have to figure out what to do with those desks in the front. But I wanted to put them back in groups, so let's see how it goes today. And now it's time for me to let the kids in. So, see you later.
To ride a bike for relaxing trips but don't have one or don't want to bring a bike and take it home? Here's why having a bike sharing program would work in my community.
Riding a bike down the calm beaches of Miami is amazing. This is also great when you don't have to buy the bike or store it at home. Having a bike sharing program in my community will work. Here's why.
Woo! Good job!
Okay. Do you know what a bike sharing program is? Have you ever had one in your community? In my opinion, a bike sharing program is a great idea for my community. Here are a few reasons why.
Nice.
Yeah, I got on the news! I'm on Miami Herald! Hey, everybody! When traveling, what transportation would you use? Bike or car? It would be a less hassle to take a car. In my opinion, bike sharing won't work in my community.
The bike sharing program is a fun and easy way to get things done. But when you don't pay attention, then that's when you get hurt. However, bike sharing programs will not work in my community. Here are some reasons why.
All right, so we've made a couple of revisions to your introduction. Read it again.
The bike sharing program is a fun and easy way to get things done. But when you don't pay attention, that's when you get hurt. I don't think a bike sharing program will work in my community. Here are some reasons why.
Doesn't that sound better? Yeah!
And now is my planning time, and as you saw in the previous clips, the students started sharing their introductions that they wrote on their index cards. So they're the revised introductions that they're making sure they have their opener, which is the general statement about the topic, and then the topic sentence, which states their opinion on, in this case, whether a bike sharing program will work in their community or it wouldn't work. And you also saw that the kids were using our microphone. This is our karaoke microphone by Emoso. I featured this microphone in my favorite things video that I did in November, a Thankful Teachers A through Z. So I think that's where, yeah, I featured it there because it was for Amazon, and I was going over some of the things that I had just purchased on Amazon, which was this was included. So when you turn it on, it has all these like lights that flash, and right now it has some echo. Turn off the echo. Okay, and this is how it sounds. So it's pretty nice and loud, and the way that I was able to make it nice and loud, you have to speak to it like this, not like this because it's not loud enough. So you literally have to speak into it like this. And I put up the treble all the way up, the bass all the way up, the volume all the way up. The music is up in case I am doing karaoke, which I do during our recess time, just to entertain the kids and because it's fun and it's relaxing and it's also stress reliever. So the kids were using the microphone to present their introductions. The other thing that I was doing that I really can't show you because I use my phone to film, I'll give you the name of the app that I use, is the Big Button Box. And it's an app that I have on my iPhone, and basically it has a whole bunch of buttons with a whole bunch of different sound effects, but I did use the applause button. So when the students finished sharing, and if it was an introduction that had all the components that I needed them to have, I hit the applause and it applauded, and I have the music on my iPhone playing through my Bluetooth speaker, my iHome Bluetooth speaker, so it's nice and loud so the students can hear it, so it's a lot of fun. So I'm actually happy that I'm doing this because I'm adding what I wanted to, which was one of my goals for the year in the classroom, adding more novelty and fun into instruction. So hopefully the kids can see this as, you know, writing is not boring. Writing can actually be fun. So I'm really excited about this. Just turn this off. It's really neat, so that I can save the battery and not waste it. And I'm just going to put it back into its case, and it'll be ready to go when the students come back. So when they come back, I have 3 teams of students that haven't shared, so we'll share very quickly. We'll go over what we need to have in a body paragraph, and they're going to only revise 1 body paragraph and make it have all the components that I need it to have. Let me show you the PowerPoint that I am using to help my students with this assignment, because it's something that I came up with a couple years ago, and I really love to use it for mini lessons so that the students know these are the things that you need to remember to include in your writing. So let me go ahead and do that now. So I'm actually going to demonstrate exactly what is the PowerPoint that I use with my students. And to help me present the PowerPoint, I use this Logitech presenter remote. And basically it has some really cool features that you can just advance the PowerPoint from anywhere that you are in the classroom. So before I put the PowerPoint up, I'm going to turn off the lights so that I can show you. So right here, we're all the way in slide 30. But I want to show you how it looks from the beginning of the slide so that you can see the resource that I am using to help my students and teach them how to make sure that they incorporate all the things they need to incorporate in their writing. So let me just shut off the lights so that you can see the presentation better. Okay, and the remote has a really neat feature where I can literally just press a button and from anywhere in the classroom and the presentation will start. So that should happen right now. Okay, so this is a presentation that I go over with the students. So we do an overview of opinion writing and I show them what an opinion essay is. So it basically is writing that allows you to express your point of view, how you think or feel. An opinion is a belief or feeling, your point of view, the result of an emotion, maybe supported by an argument, etc. So these are the things that I make sure the students know what an opinion is. And then we go over what an opinion essay does. So it informs the reader your opinion and provides compelling reasons. And again, compelling is some vocabulary that comes from the state writing rubric that they use to score the students' writing. And I go into defining what compelling means. And I go over opinion chateau. This is something that I created myself. I basically wanted them to think of their writing as like a house. So basically, when you walk up to a house, you are in the sidewalk and you see the house. Ooh, how nice. It has some curb appeal. You are drawn to the house by how it looks on the outside. Just like the opener of your introduction. It draws the reader in to want to keep reading what it is that you have to say. So it's a general statement about the information of the topic. So think curb appeal. From the sidewalk, you admire how interesting the home looks and you want to go and take a closer look. So then you come to the front door where you knock knock and that's your topic sentence. So you basically let the reader know the specific information about the topic. In this case, because it's opinion chateau, the students need to state their opinion, what they think about the topic. So the sidewalk plus the front door or opener plus topic sentence equals introduction. And then I go into the rooms of the house. So I tell them, pretend you are someone giving a tour to somebody that's coming into your house. That's the same thing that you do as an author. You give the reader a tour about all the different rooms or body paragraphs that you are trying to inform them about. So they need to explain their opinion using reasons/ideas, evidence, and elaboration. Each reason or idea paragraph in your essay is like a different room in the house. So one familiar thing that I tell them is you won't start talking about the kitchen and in the middle of talking about the kitchen, you talk about the bathroom. The bathroom belongs in the bathroom and the kitchen belongs in the kitchen. So details about this reason should not be combined with details of this reason. The reasons need to be separate so you can fully elaborate and explain what you mean by that reason. And then after you have at least 2 body paragraphs, I tell the kids, they need to have a conclusion, which in an opinion essay, they need to restate their opinion. And then after they restate their opinion, they can have a back sidewalk, which is the lasting impression. Now, the lasting impression is a little extra about the topic that makes the reader think, feel, or smile. So I tell them it's that little sentence at the end that makes the reader feel those things. That is what makes up your entire opinion essay. So then we go over the analytical writing process, which is they read the prompt first, they unwrap it using APT 1, 2, 3. They read the passages or the stimulus set. They plan their essay by gathering evidence and making connections. They write their essay, they revise and edit, and then they publish, which in most of the case, I tell the kids, you publish by turning in your final, draft. So we go over what we do in an opinion prompt. I tell them, read the prompt at least twice, but if you can, 3 times, because they really need to understand what the prompt is asking them to address in their essay. They need to look for opinion keywords. Usually it's just the word opinion or give your opinion, state your opinion. They need to remember to circle that keyword, underline the topic, and ask if it's a 1 or 2 part prompt. So what is APT 123? It's something that I came up with, and I tell them APT, and it's the easiest 1, 2, 3. So A stands for audience. Who are you writing to? Usually the prompt, sometimes we'll tell them who they are writing to, but usually they don't. So if they don't say who they're writing to, whether it's a principal or a teacher, then they just write to a teacher. I tell them always the audience. If they don't tell you who you're writing to in the prompt, you write to your teacher. P is for purpose. What type of essay are you writing? Are you writing an opinion essay? Are you writing an informative essay? T is for task. What is the topic? Which is usually what they underline. And then I tell them, APT. You can find APT by doing 1, 2, 3. 1. When you circle the essay keyword, you know what purpose you are doing, whether it's to inform or to give your opinion. 2, you underline the topic. And when you underline the topic, you know the task. And I tell them, try to write the task in a question. And 3, ask, is this a 1-part or a 2-part prompt? Because sometimes they'll have prompts where they have to address 2 things in their essay. So they can't forget that. And if they do forget that, they will get lower scores in their PFO. All right, so this is the prompt that they were working with. As you saw yesterday, I showed you in the video. The passages you read were about bike sharing. Write an essay in which you give your opinion about whether or not a bike sharing program will work in your community. Use information from the sources in your essay. So I asked them, what's the essay keyword? Opinion. What is the topic? Whether or not a bike sharing program will work in my community. Is it a 1-part or a 2-part prompt? It's a 1-part prompt. They're only giving their opinion about whether it will work or not. Then, once they do that, they find the APT. They didn't tell me who I was writing to, so my audience is my teacher. My purpose, because this is opinion, my purpose is to give my opinion. And my task, according to what I underline, will a bike sharing program work in my community? So once they have it as a question, I believe, in my opinion, it's easier for the students to address that answer in their essay. So then we go over how we read the passages. We read them twice. I tell them they have enough time, because they do have 2 hours, to read the sources the first time just to get an idea of what they're about, and then the second time to make sure that they annotate. And as they read, gather evidence, make connections, find facts. And I use this quote a lot. I put it in all my presentations that are like this. Benjamin Franklin, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So we go over planning and what it is and how much time they should spend on it. I show them the spaceship. I show them the tree map, because I love thinking maps, so I show them the tree map. And I tell them literally the only difference between the 2 is one uses circles and the other one uses rectangles. That's basically the main difference. And then I show them an example of my spaceship with my topic. So this will work, and I'm just going to run through this so that you can see. I show them. So will it work? So they have one reason, another reason why it will not work, and then what do you mean by that? That's their elaboration. What is the text evidence that supports all this? So they write an example here, and then they can have a conclusion at the end. And this is the spaceship for the con, which is it will not work. So again, you have the reason, elaboration, evidence, reason, elaboration, evidence, and then the conclusion sentence. And then I use the same thing, but with the tree map. So they have reason, elaboration, evidence, reason, elaboration, evidence, reason, elaboration, evidence. And this is for the con. It will not work. Reason, elaboration, evidence, etc. All right, so then I have them do their own plan, which you saw that I already had them do that. And then we go over the writing, the rest of the writing. So now I plan, now it's time to write. So let the writing rumpus begin. We start with the introduction. And what it does, it begins with an opener, followed by a topic sentence. Okay? And they need to use words from the prompt. Borrow words from the prompt, I tell them. Okay? It has to give an answer to the topic and show them how you feel about that topic, because this is opinion. And it should tell the reader, here are my reasons why I think this way. Like, I'm ready to show you what my reasons are. So this is one of the examples that I show them. Riding a bike down the beautiful sunny streets of Miami is a wonderful activity to do. It's even better when you don't have to actually buy the bike or take it home with you. Having a bike sharing program in my community is a great idea for many reasons. So this is my opener, which is my general information about the topic, and this is my topic that gives my opinion, and notice the words that I use from the prompt. Now this is an introduction example for the con, that it will not work. So going around the city on a bike that comes from a bike sharing program may sound like a good idea. However, it's more of a headache than you can imagine. In my opinion, a bike sharing program will not work in my community. So here's the opener. Here's the topic sentence, and those are the words from the prompt. So that's basically what the students did yesterday. And today they're just sharing their introductions to make sure that they have an introduction that fits all those requirements. All right, so the next thing we're gonna work on, if we don't have time today, it'll just have to go into next week, but hopefully we do for at least one paragraph. I show them the body paragraph for an opinion essay. The body is where all the details live, and this is where you will write about the compelling reasons using evidence and elaboration. And I show them this acronym, TREE, which stands for transition, reason/idea, evidence, elaboration, or transition, reason/idea, elaboration, evidence. Either one. But I tell them, if you're going to end your paragraph with evidence, don't end with evidence. Make sure you elaborate that evidence. So they can have multiple E's. It could be tree or it could be tree. As many as they need in order to explain why they believe the way they do about the topic. And this is my writing tree. This is, again, another idea that I came up with. So, and tree, by the way, going back, tree is used for each body paragraph. It's not for the whole body. It's for each body paragraph. All right, so then we go over the writing tree, and this pretty much goes over. So the tree trunk is the topic. The trunk represents the topic the prompt is asking you to write about. The branches are the reasons or details that represent and support that topic. And the leaves are the evidence and elaboration. All right, so that they can tell more about why they feel the way they do. And then I go over what transitions are. So I explain to them what they are. They're like doors. They move from one idea to the next. They introduce ideas, group ideas. They signal a change or make connections. And I show them to make sure they use transitions effectively. I don't want them to fall into my first reason, my second reason, my third reason, because that's boring. And I tell them they're sophisticated fourth graders. They should write better than that. So then they try different transitions. They look for and add new words and phrases to their transitions list, and they make sure that the transitions they use fit the purpose of the paragraph, and they use phrases as many times as possible instead of just a single word. So here is some lists of transitions that I provide for them. These can be used for the first reason, these can be used for other reasons, and here continues the list. And then I show them an example of what a body paragraph is, and I'll show you this one because it's almost time for me to pick them up. But basically, let's begin with the fact that having more people using bicycles will help to reduce the amount of cars on the road. In Bike Sharing, a Great Idea, the author mentions that rush hour traffic might not be that bad if people decided to ride a bike to work instead of driving a car. With less cars on the road, there will be less traffic to worry about. I know that in my city, there's always a lot of traffic in the morning and in the afternoon as people go to work and come back home. You can see hundreds of cars in a slow-moving line that can stretch for miles. Placing bike-sharing docks around my city will help fix this problem by encouraging people to use bikes instead of cars. Now let me show you how tree looks like in this paragraph. So T, transition, that's my transition. Reason 1, the R in tree, that's my reason. So this acts as my topic sentence for this paragraph. And then we have evidence from the text, followed by all this elaboration to elaborate on that evidence and connect it to my reason. So that's basically what I show the students. And here's another example for the con. And again, here you have the transition, the reason, evidence, elaboration, evidence, elaboration. So this is a tree, so you can see how it works. And then they will go ahead and write their opinion. Now very quickly, I show them another second body paragraph, and it just keeps showing how tree helps you build your paragraph and make sure you have everything that you need in order to explain what you're trying to say. So here we have, in this presentation, I have 3 different body paragraphs for the pro and the con. And then we have our conclusion. It needs, in an opinion, it needs to tell the reader the most important thing, so you're repeating your opinion and the most important point that you're trying to make with that opinion. Okay? And then it can have a little extra to help the reader think, feel, or smile. And here's some ways that they can start their conclusion, because I don't want them to go in conclusion, because that's boring. So these are other ways that they can start their conclusion. And here's an example. These reasons all add up to the conclusion that having a bike sharing program will definitely work in my community. So if you notice, that's me restating my opinion. My neighborhood will enjoy the benefits of sharing bikes to easily get around the city while exercising and avoiding terrible traffic jams. Those are my important points for my opinion. And here's my lasting impression. Who wouldn't want these benefits in their communities? I know I definitely do. So that's for the pro, and this is for the con. Now you can see why I don't believe a bike sharing program will work in my community. So that's just me restating my opinion, and here's my lasting impression. Even though it seems like a great idea, it will cause more problems and headaches than I think people in my neighborhood would like to have. So that's basically what I'm trying to help the students do so they can revise their essays and know exactly what they need to have. So with that, I have to rush and go get them, and I'll catch up with you probably sometime during my lunchtime. And I'm so sorry, I'm gonna apologize in advance if you couldn't see my face, because then I realized maybe I should have just left the lights on so that you could have seen me, because I know I probably looked dark. But the main thing that I wanted to show you was that PowerPoint that I have to help my students revise their writing and make it better and learn all the different components that they need to make sure they include in their essay. So now let me rush out of here because I'm already late. See you soon. So right now is my lunchtime, and I quickly have to film this because my phone's about to die, but this is my lunch for today. So I have some lean pork chops with rice with mushrooms and onions and a little bit of bacon, and my salad. I don't think I'm going to eat all this, but I at least want to eat a little bit of the salad with that so I can get my veggies in. So that's my lunch for today. And this is how the room looks at the end of the day. I'm just going to have to arrange the desk again in the neat way. I mean, it doesn't look that organized, but it is. Like these desks right here, they're not evened out. No. And these desks are all like crooked, and I use the lines on the tiles to kind of like line them up. So yeah, I gotta do some fixing here. Plus the classroom library, all the pillows. This is what happens at the end of the day after you have kids in the classroom. All the pillows are all disheveled. So I'm gonna fix that right now before I sign off on the vlog. Alright, so now the desks are more organized and the chairs are where they're supposed to be. I finally figured out what to do with these 2 extra desks in the front. So sometimes I just sit on them, or I can actually stand on them too to get their attention, since I don't have a stage, which I would love to have a stage. And I just fixed the pillows and the classroom library and the pair with our little dolphin, Finn the dolphin. So that's basically the setup, and I kind of organized a little bit. All right, so it's the end of the day, as you know from watching me organize all the desks in the classroom library, and I will in a minute reflect on the week, but I wanted to let you know that the students were able to at least revise their introductions. Both classes did. The other class started revising their body paragraph. They didn't finish, but they'll finish next week, and the other class didn't even get to that because we ran out of time. On Fridays, they get 30 minutes of recess at the end of the day, so they had that, which they needed, and that's fine. And I wanted to show you some of the other examples for their introductions that I shared with the students, because while they were being timed for 5 minutes to write their introduction, I went ahead and I wrote 2 introductions with my morning group, 2 introductions with my afternoon group. So let me show you those right now. So these 2 are the introductions that I wrote with my morning group, and the top one is an introduction for 4 bike sharing programs in the community. And the bottom one is an introduction for bike sharing programs will not work in the community. Now, the other 2 introductions that I wrote with my afternoon group, I actually ended up putting them in the PowerPoint. So I will share with you what those were. So just give me one moment. So this is one of the introductions that I was able to write along with the students while they were being timed. I wrote these as well. They had 5 minutes, like I said. So this one is for bike sharing programs will work in my community. And that is the opener, which is a general statement about the topic. And that is my opinion statement, which tells my opinion, and it uses words from the prompt. So let me show you the one. This is the other one that I had before. This is the new one for the con that says bike sharing programs will not work in the community. So I wrote this one as well. And again, this is the opener, general statement about the topic. And this is my opinion, which uses also words from the prompt. So that's basically what I was able to do with both classes today. These were done with my afternoon class. So the other class hasn't seen them, so I'll show them as well next week. So these are extra slides that I included that were not included in the previous clip where I showed you the entire presentation for this particular essay. I also wanted to show you that I created this poster to kind of be a title for our stamina meter poster that you saw me create earlier in this video. And now both classes are 10 minutes of uninterrupted reading without losing focus and just concentrating on what they're reading. So I created this poster really quickly this morning and I laminated with my laminator. And yeah, I really like how it looks. Let me back up a little bit so that you can see how that looks from far away without me tripping over any chairs or pillows. So that, yep, that's basically how it looks, and I'm really happy with where it is, and the students are really excited. We didn't have time today to continue doing our stamina to get to 15 minutes because we just ran out of time. We were doing so much writing and then the spelling test, but you know, we'll catch up next week. I mean, they're making great progress, and I'm really proud of them.
So like I mentioned earlier, it's the end of the day, it's Friday, my weekend can officially start as soon as I gather my things and I leave for the day. But I wanted to take a moment to reflect on the week, so it's time for reflection time. So the week, even though I feel like it went pretty fast, it was a 5-day week and it moved pretty fast to me and I felt pretty good about it. So we started the week with having that 2-hour practice writing test, and then as the days continued, they were working on the correct way to unwrap their prompt, the correct way to read their sources and make annotations and gather their evidence and create a plan, and of course do their little introductions on the index cards, which are the revisions for their introduction, so that they make sure that they have an opener and a topic sentence that uses words from the prompt to make sure that they're addressing the task that the prompt is asking them to do. So we were able to do that, and today I was able to add a little novelty with that. As you saw, I used the microphone, which the kids loved it. I did it actually with both classes. Both classes, 1 second.
Please for this interruption.
It's the end of the day, so there's going to be a lot of interruptions coming up, so I'll try to make this quick. So I really like that both classes were able to revise their introductions, write it on those index cards, and then use the microphone as a fun novelty way to share their introductions with the rest of the class. They didn't have to stand in front of the class. They just sat at their seats, as you saw in the video, and read their introductions to the entire class. And if they needed to revise, I just said, yeah, no problem. Just change this word, maybe not use the sentence, don't include all those details in the introduction. The details live in the middle, so they belong in the middle, not in the introduction. Introduction is just short, to the point, introduce the topic. That's all the introduction needs to do. So they were able to do that, and that was a lot of fun. Now my morning class were able to add a little bit more novelty into their revision process, because as we got into the body paragraph, now that they finished their introduction, I gave them lined color paper so that they could just revise one of the body paragraphs. I just needed them to focus on one, not revise the entire essay because we just don't have time. But if they can just revise that one body paragraph and make sure they have all the tree components, transition, reason, or idea, evidence and elaboration, or elaboration evidence, then they will be able to have a fully developed paragraph that fully explains their opinion and the reason for that opinion. So we did that, and hopefully next week they can just wrap it up, and the conclusion should be pretty simple. I'm also thinking of giving them an index card as well for that one, so they just write a revision to their conclusion, because the conclusion is also short and to the point, just like the introduction. Let me show you what I mean by the colored papers. So let me bring some of those right now. So I know that I already showed you the clip of the students just revising their body paragraphs on colored line paper, and this is basically what I mean. And this is Astro Bright colored paper that I have, and I created this writing template where I just feed it through my printer and it copies the lines, so it makes it look like a line paper with margin. And usually I print the lines on both sides, but because they were just revising one body paragraph, I just gave them lines on one side. So I had them in different colors for the students to use. And this adds novelty for the students when they're writing, because color activates the brain. And it makes it even more exciting for them to be writing on colored paper. Look at all these awesome colors. Because it's fun. Color is fun, let's face it. And I want to explain to you
I put the acronym TREE right here. And like I mentioned in the video, transition, reason or idea, evidence, and elaboration. And that makes our tree. And every body paragraph needs to have a tree checklist so that they make sure that, do I have a transition to move from one paragraph to the next? Do I have my reason so my reader knows from the topic sentence of this paragraph what I'm going to be talking about? And am I elaborating and using evidence to back that reason up? So that's what they were working on today. My afternoon class will do that next week since we ran out of time. And we also did our spelling test today, so I have those to grade. Those will be the first spelling test grades for this grading period since we started on Monday on the third grading period. So yeah, all in all, I really enjoyed this week. I really loved that I was able to go over the writing parts, and I feel a little bit more comfortable with how the students are progressing. I saw that they were not bored, they were actually having fun, and they wanted to share their writing. If there were kids that were having trouble coming up with ideas, I would just use questions to guide them. Okay, so you're saying that using bikes will reduce air pollution. Well, what do you mean by that? And then what text evidence supports that? So by using those questions to probe the students, they were able to get ideas on what to write next for their paragraph. So again, writing is something that you get better the more you practice and you do. And I was really happy with how the students worked on writing this week. Now, I didn't get through too much of my reading. We did do the Wonders assessment, which was great, and the students did pretty well. They got good averages. We were supposed to start Unit 3, Week 4 with Abraham Lincoln and the women's suffrage movement, and we didn't get to that. So I don't know how that's going to work for next week, since next week we have a field trip on Thursday, and then it's Take Your Child to Work Day next Friday. And I know that's a little early than when All the Nation's going to have their Take Your Child to Work Day, but the date is usually in April, and in April our state and our county does a lot of the computer-based testing for the Florida Standards Assessment. So our district decides each year to just move it to a different date, and this year just so happens to be February 2nd. So that's a date that the students can go to work with their parents or with a family member to learn more about another career. And they count that as a field trip, so it doesn't count as an absence from school. Any students that I have left behind will be working on a project. And I'll share what that project is next week on next week's vlog so that you can see. So next week's vlog might be a little short since I'll have 3 big days of instruction, and one day we'll be going to the field trip. I'll vlog a little bit about that one too. And on Friday, we'll have your Take Your Child to Work Day. So I'll show you what I do on a Take Your Child to Work Day, what happens. So I'll be happy to share with you that day as well. So I'm really happy with this week. Did I use novelty and fun in my instruction? Yes. Did I address standards that my students needed to work on? Yes. Did my students have fun? Were they engaged? Yes. And I want to say, did I get through everything that I planned? No. I usually overplan. I noticed that. And if you're a teacher that also finds themselves overplanning, leave a comment down below. I don't want to feel alone. And my mood this week was great. And the only interesting thing is that I know I mentioned on Tuesday that I had a union meeting about a bill that seeks to dissolve any union with less than 50% membership. And we just learned this morning that, you know, our Florida Senate and our House of Representatives are in session right now, and the bill passed in the House. So now it's going to the Senate. And if it passes in the Senate, then more than likely, if we don't have at least 50% of membership in our union, then our union gets dissolved. So that's a little scary because I don't know what that will mean and how it will change teaching. Will our salaries go down? Because it has happened in other states where their union gets dissolved and the teachers face a salary cut. So scary. So I hope that we have any good outcomes, because if it does pass, or when it passes, we want to make sure that our union at least has at least 50% membership. I don't want to end on such a sour note, but I'm going to think positive. Whatever it is, we'll just tackle it one day at a time. I'm just very happy with how the week turned out with my students. I like the new setup of the classroom, getting back to groups, opening up that space in the middle. It's a lot of fun. I wish I could have a classroom stage. That's on my wish list. My next thing would be to maybe send out an email to the parents to see if there's anybody that's handy or crafty that will be able to build that for me. And that would be awesome if that happens. And the students can use it, and I can use it, and it'll bring learning to a whole new level. It's already 3:30 and my son is patiently waiting, poor thing. He gets out of school at 2:20 and has to wait for me to finish. So I don't want him to wait so long because it's already Friday, it's the weekend, and we want to relax. So I think this is where I'm going to end the vlog for today. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me this week. If you liked any ideas that I shared, leave a comment down below. If you would like for me to do a separate video on only just writing and how I teach writing, leave a comment down below and I will be maybe thinking about doing a video like that in the future. I think this video was very heavy on writing, so I'm actually proud of my students. They did a really good job and they're growing as writers. So that's always great when I can see my students go from not thinking that they can do something to, oh, I actually can write. I'm a writer. So that's it for today. That's it for this week. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And I can't wait to see you again next week. Have a beautiful, magical day, and don't forget to smile.